In this video, we will create widget custom button, which will look like a team selection banner. In the next video, we will create animated team selection UI, and in the last third video, we will write a verse code to assign players into teams. I would like to mention that most of the images for this UI are created by talented artist Rustigala, and logos I took from the Fortnite GG website. And now, let's begin. So I have images prepared for this, and most of them, so they have everything already sorted. And I want to mention that sometimes I'm using this default for the UI, and sometimes, as you can see, I'm just using user interface. Difference is that when you're selecting user interface, it applies like, I think, no compression at all, or maybe like really minimum, and that's why resolution resource size, it's much higher. And this, it goes not in the local drive, but this is basically on GPU side, so basically for your memory. And if, for example, I would select default, you can see now it's just quarter of that. So keep that in mind. And why I'm doing sometimes like this, because basically when we're rendering a lot of textures, let's say, straight away on the screen, especially in a Fortnite, we want maybe do less damage, like not damage impact on the GPU. And now I know that this team selection will be on a game start, so it could be even dark screen or something, so we don't need to render too many textures. And then I want these textures to be as high quality as possible, so that's why I'm setting it to user interface. But keep in mind, if you will have any troubles, you can use lower this quality, so basically with more compression. That should be fine as well. Okay, and then I have, in all textures, I have no meat maps. Then I'm not streaming. So basically what streaming means, if you don't know, it's basically when you're loading, it starts with a lower resolution and then it goes higher resolution if we have too many textures, too many high resolution textures at the same time to load. But because we instantaneously showing this UI, we want all textures be sharp, right? So basically we're disabling this streaming. We don't want that. And it's already power of 2, but I like to set it power of 2 as well. And the texture group. This is important. Even if you will set to user interface, what I will show in here, you may notice that all textures fine, and this one is with red, right? And what's the difference? If I will look inside, this is pretty much same. No meep maps, right? This never stream. Then user interface, power of 2, everything looks same, but it shows error. It's all because of this texture group and says to world. If I will set it to UI and save, and now that warning, that error gone. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I have this gear, frame, border, and then we will use this for this video. So this is for our button. As I said, like, it will look like a banner, but this will be our button. And inside I have multiple, basically, masks. So this is border. So then I can basically apply different colors on different elements. So this is border. This is main body, so like background. And this is like where will be text, like select. And in here, it's same as this one. Okay. So now let's start with material. Yeah, let's just call button. Okay. Right away, we need user interface and translucent. Okay. Now let's grab our texture. Let's draw it here. And I will use same material for selection, like a border. So basically on the buttons, you have normal button view. And then when you hover over that button, it shows this like outline, yeah, like a border. And we need material for that as well, but I will use same materials. That's why I want to change the texture later for material instance. So I will use this as a parameter. Okay, then let's use scale by center. because again, for the main button, that should be fine, but probably we will need to scale for our border just to make it around a little bit more. And because it's maybe won't be unproportional, so that's why I want both X and Y separate. And let's set it by default by 1. So 1, it means nothing will be changed, not 10, 1. Okay. And in this one, I don't want wrapping, and I think by default in the texture is set to wrapping, so I will set it to clump. Okay. Now we want few colors. So it will be background color. It will be frame color. And we want for that, oops, not scalar, it's color. It will be for this selection. Okay. Now we can have lerp lerp. It will be like, first we're starting with this one, with a background, and then everything will go on top. So background, then this frame color. And for the frame color, we have this red channel. Then it goes into this one. And in here, it goes, let me think. Oh yeah, this is not selection border. It's not for the border. It's actually, let me show you. Yeah, I forgot. It's actually this. So it's not around. It's basically for that. So, you know, like, let's say it like selection, maybe stripe. I don't know, like gradient, something. So now let's take this one into here. Okay. That should be fine. Then this we can directly connect into final. We need alpha. I want control background from like separately from the frame. So frame could be like more opaque and background maybe more transparent. So we know that our background is in a green channel. Set it, actually, I will set it maybe 0.5. So it should be between 0 and 1. Keep that in mind. Now we can combine others as well, these alphas. And we need max for that, not multiply. So we will grab this. And yeah, we'll grab this. Now I want static switch parameter, and I will call it is border. So as I said, like I will swap this texture for the border as well. And alpha a little bit differently will work. It's like we don't need all these alphas. So this one will go to false, that this is not a border. And then from this one, we'll go directly to red like that. And from here into opacity. Okay, now, fine. We can try set some colors so then we can see something. This thing not showing. It doesn't matter. We will look. Actually interesting that this one, it's still black. Oh, my mistake. Not UVs, Jesus. Texture scale. Sorry. Okay. Now we can see. Okay, so this one is white, and we can, and yeah, and this one is black. We can set as well like something bright, as you can see. So we can control all that separately. Okay, before finishing here, what I want as well, I want to add some like noise, like a clouds flying in here and little gradient vertical. So let's do that. So for the gradient, that's super simple. Let's do mask from our texture coordinates, and then we're using G, so basically it's vertical. And we will invert it like so. And now this is our color for background. So before connecting into LERP, we will just multiply it. And you can see it already have this gradient. Nice. So we have gradient. Now we want that like this clothes. I'm not converting this to parameter. You can, if you want, then change maybe this noise texture later. For me, it's fine. Let's see. Let's grab this one. And I will want two of them. Basically, looks nicer when one goes one direction and another opposite direction. And then when they overlap and when you're multiplying, it's kind of like they erasing each other. So it's creating more interesting dynamic look instead of just panning one texture. Okay, two panners. Okay. Now, again, texture coordinates, multiply. So this will be our, let's call just noise scale. And I have only one parameter, so it means it will uniformly scale it. If you want maybe like some stretching, right, a little bit more scaling into horizontal side or vertical, then you need again to do like this, right, with a pen. But this for me, it's fine. Okay, yeah, actually I can connect this here already and that there. Okay, and now we need this speed, just control speed outside. So again, pen vector, because I want X and Y separately. If you will just give one scalar in one value, so basically it will go more diagonally. Okay, so then noise speed X, noise speed Y. And for the speed, maybe something really, really tiny. And this one goes directly to the top one. But then for this one, because if I will connect this one here as well, it means both these textures will move exactly the same way. But I don't want to create all this logic again separately. What I can do, again, connect this to multiply and multiply not by 1, but 1 second. So it's minus and then something like instead of equal. So maybe like 0.6 or could be like 1.2. Yeah, so not 1. And with minus, we're basically inverting it. So it means you can see here if they're moving in opposite directions. And if we will preview it, you can see how it looks. Okay, that's fine. And at the end, we can add power. So let's preview this and now let's connect it here. And we can experiment with this. So you can see and get interesting results. But I want it to be really subtle and opposite. I will set minus 0.3. Okay, and now we can multiply it with our gradient first. You can see how it looks. And then multiply with our color. Okay, now let's organize and we finished here. Now, here, let's go, instead of user widget, we need to go to blueprint class. And let's search for a button. Some of them could be here because you already created something called button, right? Like, so keep in mind. But basically, you need to go into visual widget, user widget, going down, and then there is this base button, and then you have children. So you have this three buttons: loud, quiet, and regular. I think it doesn't matter which you will select. I like to just work with the first one, so like it's loud. But again, this is totally doesn't matter because we're changing totally look, so it won't be or yellow or transparent, nothing. So WBP and just maybe team selection or button. Don't want a long name, like maybe team button. So yeah, I don't want to like really long names. Okay, so let's open, and this is our button. You don't need to add here anything, and especially canvas, so should stay as is. But then we have here background material and border material. That's why I say like it's two separate things. So in here, this is our material. Let's create material instance. And let's add it here. So you see now that yellow gone and this line is left. And this comes from this border material. You can erase this text or leave it. It doesn't matter because we will use this button in another widget and you controlling this text in there. Same with bindings. We're not adding any bindings here. Okay, that now let's create another material instance. Sign it here. Now let's open this. So we have colors. We will do stuff with colors, but here we need to tick this one. Like, is a border, right? And when I ticked, you can see what's going on in here. But we need to update this texture. Let's grab this one. And we have our border. And you can see how it looks. Ignore that it's stretched like that, because again, size we will control inside of another widget. So most importantly, we have this. Maybe we can make this border on the right side, basically on the sides, a little bit thicker. But I don't want to do much changes right now because then, again, when we'll fix this stretch in the next video, maybe I will still need to adjust this. But I will just show you. So for example, you can set it like that, right? So it flies too far away like that. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, like you just need really tiny numbers or it will fly away really quickly. Okay. So let's update colors. But for this one, this will be, let's see, let me open my material. For this one, we're using red, and for the red, we're using frame color. Okay, so it will be same. So we need this frame color. It updates. Interesting. What we can do in here, we can take this is border. We can connect this one as a false, right, and connect in there. But then we can take our frame color and directly connect it in there, like so. Oh, it definitely should be as a frame. Yeah, you see now all the different colors disappeared, so we nicely filtering that. Okay. Now, want it like be a little bit more orange. Again, with the colors, we will play in the next video more, because when we will see a whole UI, it will be easier. No, not this one. Okay. Then here we can control this opacity. For now, I will leave 0.5. And then this one. Something like that. A little bit darker, but again, we will update later. This is mainly just to see. Okay. Oh yeah, frame. Main frame as well. So yeah, now this will look like a proper banner, but sometimes it will act as a border, border button, sorry. Okay, we finished with this one. And just to add really quickly, we can create logo material. So then in the next video, it will be already ready for us. So we have this 4 logos for the teams. And there is like a gradient, so a distant field, right? And so this is basically to use lower resolution and make them sharper. So again, user interface, translucent, and then for this one we will use flip book, then one rows, columns, and we know already that is 2 by 2. And we can multiply. This goes into rows, this goes into columns, and then multiply with each other. Then we will divide 1 by this number. So basically then, see, like input should be between 0 and 1. When we will multiply this and divide it 1 by this, we will keep that between 0 and 1. And now we just need multiply with our logo index. So like this, and in here. Let's grab texture. We'll use UVs and make sure it's not clamped. If it will be clamped, it won't work. So you can set it to shared wrap to be sure that it's working. And you can see already, we see a logo. And if I set now 1, change 2, 3. And then if you going over the how many you have, like units, it will just loop. Because it starts with a 0, so it should finish on 3. Okay. And final thing in here is basically just that smooth step just to create that distant field. So let's grab red channel. And just call it contrast min. max. The maximum I will use 0.15 and minimum 0.1. If you will have different textures, again, try different values. I already tried, that's why I know these values. Okay, and now we just need color. Actually, I can change already for something I wanted. Like that. And you can see how sharp it is. Yeah, that's it. And let's create really quickly widget blueprint. So we can test it basically how the button is working. The canvas, let's drop here, overlay, let's put it in the center, 0, 0, then 0.5, 0.5. Oops, wrong one. That was 100, yeah. Okay, so in the center, I don't know size of this banner, so but it should be something like this. Now we want size box, and now in here image. Oh, actually, not image. It's not image. It's button. We already have here. You can see team button. If you won't see it here, just scroll in user created. Should find that. So now let's drop it in here, and this is looking not bad. Now this one should be filled horizontally and vertically to make sure, and then nothing else in here. Then size important. You can set as well fill, as you can see. Then with overlay we will control that, or if you don't want, you can control it in here like that. So instead of filled, then you can have it like this, and then you can control size, for example, like 160 by what, 300. There we go. And this is our button. And as you can see, the border was really close, but now in here there is a really big difference, right? And that's why we have our material. So now in material, we can bring it closer like that. So 0.9, that's fine. I think maybe 95, no, 94. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. And this is our button. So now, yeah, I won't do bindings because don't want to waste time. But basically, we can add this one already to our this pop-up device. I will just duplicate it. So in here, we need to input our widget, and I will auto display set on a game start. And that's it. So that should be enough. Let's push and test. Okay, let's test it. And here we go. We have our button. But because we don't have any bindings in there, we can actually click on it. Like, we can click, but it's not activating anything. Yeah. So in the next video, we will use this button to create a whole UI for team selection with a text, with animations. And then in the third video, again, we will create verse code. We'll write verse code to control all that selection and assigning players into different teams. So see you in the next video. Have fun. I would like to say thank you to my all supporters. I appreciate your support. Thank you for your generosity.
You can get project files on my Patreon or just buy me a coffee to support me. If you're interested in learning more about UEFN materials, coding, widget UI, and more, you can join our growing Discord community where we like to discuss UEFN tips and tricks, showcase our work, and help each other. You can find link in the description or in the channel header.